Today we're going to gather some kohlrabi. This is in Greg's small garden, and these are the perfect size. And here are some I have in a root pouch. I'm going to cook the greens from this kohlrabi. I'm going to roast some of the roots, and I'm also going to show you how to ferment these. So I'll be jumping back and forth today. Just hang in there and it'll all come together at the end. So the first thing I'm going to do is peel these and get them chopped up to be fermented. I'm going to do some in some little slices and some that are shredded and then some that are like carrot sticks. So once you get them peeled, get them washed up real well. And some of the bigger ones are best for the fermenting. The smaller ones are best for roasting. I'm just giving these greens a good quick wash and taking the stem out. I just like the greens without the stem in, but if you prefer, you can leave them. I always save my scraps and give them to my worms. They will enjoy this good green stuff. Once I have them rinsed, I'll just put them in this colander and let them drain. Now to make my brine, I've got 4 cups of water and I'm adding 5 tablespoons of canning salt. And I'm just going to heat this up enough that the salt is dissolved. And then I'm going to set it aside and let it cool because I don't want this mixture really hot when I put it in my kohlrabi to ferment. So first I'm going to slice some. I'm using my Pampered Chef slicer. And I'm slicing them about a 1/4 inch thick. And I really like this handy tool. I've had it probably 10, maybe 15 years. And some of these are a little bit thinner than others. Now I'm also going to slice some in like carrot sticks. And they'll be thicker. And I'm just experimenting with some different sizes and textures. I've never fermented kohlrabi before, so I just want to see which is the best way that we like it. Now I've got some seasonings I'm going to add. This is actually a mixture of my peppers and garlic and onion that I've dehydrated. Also have some citrus Carolina Sunshine that I bought when we were up in the mountains. You can just add whatever you have in your pantry. There's no recipe here. And here is some rosemary citrus. So I want to kind of give it a spicy citrus taste to that fermentation. Next, you'll just place your kohlrabi in your jars and you want to pack them in tight. So you may have to tilt your jar, shake it around. Your goal here is to get them really tightly packed in. Now these were a lot easier, the sliced ones, because they just stacked right up in the jar here. And it is best to use a wide mouth jar. But if you wanted to do this in a small amount, you could use a pint jar. And again, just pack them in really tight. Isn't that pretty? Now pour your cool brine up to the top rim, leaving about a 1-inch headspace. You want to make sure that the kohlrabi is completely covered in the brine. Next, we're going to put on our glass weights. This is to hold everything down under the liquid. You don't want any air getting to the vegetables. Next is our pickling pipe. Now, if you didn't have this, you could put a piece of wax paper, or you could use a regular screw band and lid and just leave it not tightened all the way. Just use whatever you have. These come from our fermentation kit, and I love them. You can pretty much sit them somewhere, forget, and leave them till it's time. So I'll sit these in my cabinet away from light. Now, the last way I'm going to ferment these kohlrabi is to shred them up. So I'm just going to cut these up in chunks because I'm going to run them through the food processor. Now, I've never had a food processor till now, and I'm still in this big learning curve. And actually, it shredded these up a little too much. I've got to Google the user manual. This actually came from Greg's mother's. She passed away a couple months ago, and this was an item left in her kitchen that I got. Now, my recipe is coming from this fermented vegetables and kohlrabi kraut. And I do this with coleslaw or with cabbage every year. So I'm just going to use my pickle packer, and you want to sprinkle your salt in there, and you don't have to massage this as much as you do cabbage, but you just want to mix it in well so that it makes its own brine. So I'm just putting in some salt, tapping it down. Again, this pickle packer comes in that fermentation kit also. It has everything you need. So see there, all that moisture is coming out. Now in here I did put the same seasoning. And you want to pack this down firmly. So I'm just going to put some in the jar, use my packer, and tap it down. I'm also going to add some black pepper in here between the layers. I had read one recipe that did that, and it kind of changed it up a little bit. Now this kohlrabi belongs to the brassica or mustard family. The edible globe is a swollen stem of the plant and grows above the ground. It's an excellent source of vitamin C, good source of fiber, vitamin B6, and potassium. It's equally tasty raw or cooked, great roasted, tossed in a slaw, or salads. The smaller the bulb, the more tastier. The larger ones are fine for cooking. The leaves can be eaten raw or cooked like any other greens. Now I'm just going to take the spatula and make sure everything is down below the liquid level. I'll take my pickling lid and put on top, and then my screw top. And I'll set this in my cabinet for several weeks also. It says after 7 days to taste it and see how you like it. So now that that's done, let's get our greens cooked up. And this is a day later. I had put them just in the fridge overnight. I'll use a good amount of bacon grease and then just throw my greens in there and continue to toss them until they are wilted down. And this is just preference if you like your greens crunchy or you like them really wilted. Now this is the first time I've cooked the kohlrabi greens, so it'll be interesting to see how Mr. Hoss likes them. They really do cook down quickly. After you have them wilted like you want, I'll add a little bit of chicken broth, and then I'll just put my lid on there and let them simmer until we're ready to eat. So now let's take the other roots and do some roasted kohlrabi. You want to give them a good peel. And again, the smaller ones are best for eating like this. And you want to just chop them up into about 1-inch cubes. Preheat your oven to 425 while you're giving them a good chop. And then you want to sprinkle them with some olive oil or your oil of choice. This is some infused rosemary olive oil that I did last year. I'm about to the bottom of my bottle here. Then add your seasonings of choice. I'm adding some roasted garlic, some salt, and some pepper. Now I will add some rosemary, but I'm not going to add it until the very last 10 minutes of cooking. So after you put your seasonings on there, give it a good toss and put it in your roasting pan. Again on 425 for 30 minutes. After 15 minutes, you want to take it out and give it a toss, and that's when you would put your rosemary on there. Look how pretty that is. They are very tender. And this is some fresh rosemary right outside my kitchen door. I was going to try and be really pretty putting this on here, and then I said the heck with it, and I just dumped the whole paper towel. So it's all ready, and I've got Mr. Hoss in here. He's going to give us a taste test.
Roasted kohlrabi and roasted kohlrabi greens. Mighty fine.
Here's the fermented kohlrabi 2 weeks afterwards, and we did taste it on a row by row show, and we really like it. Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget, check out the description below for product links and resources. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll